and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice President McCullough, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, everybody, and Happy New Year. It's so nice to see our boardroom filled with attendees for tonight's school board meeting. We're so glad that you make it. We have a number of guests here. We have a number of honored guests. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to welcome everybody who is in our overflow area and who is watching the live closed-circuit television. Thank you all for attending tonight. And I want to take a moment and express our appreciation for those who are viewing us by our live YouTube stream. We appreciate you spending your Monday night with us as well. With that, we'll call tonight's meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. The first item of the agenda is an exciting item, which we do when we have newly elected school board members. Per board policy 142.2, the oath of office, each newly elected, re-elected, appointed, or reappointed board member shall take an oath of office administered by a notary public or another qualified person not later than 30 days after the beginning of the term of office to which he or she was elected or appointed. Tonight, we're honored that the Honorable Stephanie Steele, Judge of the St. Joseph Superior Court, will administer the oath of office to PHM's newly elected and re-elected board members, who include Mr. Gary Fox, Mrs. Katie Bell, and Mr. Ryan McCullough. With that, Your Honor, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Let's start with Ms. Bell, please.
Do you want me up front?
Yes, please. And let's have you face me so that your family can see you. So where's your family? All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to read a few words at a time and ask you to repeat. Okay?
Mhm.
So please raise your right hand. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the State of Indiana.
and the State of Indiana.
I will faithfully execute the duties
I will faithfully execute the duties
of my office as a member of this governing body,
of my office as a member of this governing body,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And yours goes on to say,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. I further affirm that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
as required by the laws of Indiana
as required by the laws of Indiana
for members of the Board of School Trustees
for members of the Board of School Trustees
of the Penn-Harris-Madison School Corporation,
of the Penn-Harris-Madison School Corporation,
that I will honestly and faithfully perform
that I will honestly and faithfully perform
the duties of the office,
the duties of the office,
that while serving as a member of such Board of School Trustees,
that while serving as a member of such Board of School Trustees,
I will not become interested directly or indirectly
I will not become interested directly or indirectly
in any contract with or claim against
in any contract with or claim against
said corporation,
said corporation,
and that I will not be influenced
and that I will not be influenced
during my term of office
during my term of office
by any consideration except that of merit
by any consideration except that of merit
and fairness
and fairness
in the appointment of officers
in the appointment of officers
and the engagement of employees
and the engagement of employees
for said school corporation.
for said school corporation.
Congratulations. Thank you. Is the notary present? And Mr. McCullough. You all came with your own. I came with some just in case.
That's Rachel. She prepared.
And you have an advantage because you've seen it done once.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, sir, please raise your right hand. I solemnly swear that I will support
I solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the State of Indiana.
and the State of Indiana.
I will faithfully execute the duties
I will faithfully execute the duties
of my office as a member of this
of my office as a member of this
governing body,
governing body,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I further affirm
I further affirm
that I possess the qualifications as required
that I possess the qualifications as required
by the laws of Indiana
by the laws of Indiana
for members of the Board
for members of the Board
of School Trustees
of School Trustees
of the Penn-Harris-Madison School Corporation,
of the Penn-Harris-Madison School Corporation.
that I will honestly and faithfully perform the duties
I will honestly and faithfully perform the duties
of the office,
of the office
that while serving
as a member of such Board
as a member of such Board
of School Trustees.
of School Trustees. I will not become interested
I will not become interested
directly or indirectly
directly or indirectly
in any contract with or claim against
in any contract with or claim against
said corporation,
said corporation,
and that I will not be influenced
and I will not be influenced
during my term of office
during my term of office
by any consideration
by any consideration
except that of merit
except for that of merit
and fairness
and fairness
in the appointment of officers
in the appointment of officers
and the engagement of employees
and the engagement of employees
for said school corporation.
for said school corporation.
Thank you. Congratulations. Mr. Fox. Hello, sir. I'm well, thanks. And you? And your family, where are they?
Sit over there.
Let's take spots. Please raise your right hand. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the State of Indiana.
and the State of Indiana.
I will faithfully execute
I will faithfully execute
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a member of this governing body.
as a member of this governing body.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I further affirm
I further affirm
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
as required by the laws of Indiana
as required by the laws of Indiana
for members of the Board
for members of the Board
of School Trustees
of School Trustees
of the Penn-Harris-Madison School Corporation,
of the Penn-Harris-Madison School Corporation,
that I will honestly and faithfully perform
that I will honestly and faithfully perform
the duties of the office,
the duties of the office,
that while serving
that while serving
as a member of such board,
as a member of such board,
that while serving as member of such board,
that while serving as a member of such board
thank you, Board of School Trustees,
of School Trustees,
I will not become interested
I will not become interested
directly or indirectly
directly or indirectly
in any contract with or claim against
in any contract with or claim against
said corporation,
said corporation,
and that I will not be influenced
and that I will not be influenced
during my term of office
during my term of office
by any consideration except that of merit and fairness
except that of merit and fairness
in the appointment of officers
in the appointment of officers
and the engagement of employees
and the engagement of employees
for said school corporation.
for said school corporation.
Congratulations. Thank you. Hi, Dr. Thatcher. So nice to see you, sir.
Judge Thacker.
Thank you. Well, I feel like you all should be together.
Okay, I'll take a few. Just look right here. 1, 2, 3. A couple more. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Can Katie do a family picture?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's take a picture, girls. Sorry. Mom, will you take
Do you want to take one with your children and your husband and then one with your other family members?
Yeah, do you mind?
No.
Okay, I'll hold it.
Get some more joining.
Oh, she's gonna take one on, that's fine.
I get a picture of them, I get a picture of us.
Sorry, thank you. Okay, can you look and say cheese?
Say cheese. Smile. Smile. Aw, one more time. I can't see your beautiful smile.
Big smile. Give her a big smile.
Look like you. There we go.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then we'll do one.
It's gonna be
Can you-
PHM's most liked picture of the year.
Okay, and then we'll get one with your grandma and grandpa.
Yeah, and then Papa and Grandma can come up here.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Right here. Look right here. Cheese. Okay.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Everybody else, while we have a willing
Yeah, come on up.
participant.
Mindy, you can come too.
You all be good, sweetheart.
Okay. Hey, everybody, right here. Cheese. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Before you leave, I always emphasize, we talk about a vision of excellence, which is represented here at the highest level. But the triangle of success that connects students, teachers, and parents. Former teacher, Penn High School grad. Look at the parents, the great parents that helped
Oh, yeah.
help develop her skills.
Yeah.
Great family all the way through. Great principal all the way through. Brent and Lisa, Steve. We're so proud to have all of you on the board and part of that PHM family.
Thank you.
Thank you
Honored.
so much. Thank you.
Bye, girls. I'll come give you a kiss goodnight, okay?
Real quick. We can do both. We got a picture of us with the whole family, and then just you.
This is the last year.
Oh,
Do I have a camera?
Oh, she's back.
Oh, you're okay. Okay. Everybody right here. 1, 2, 3. Looks great.
Thank you. Then you get one, just that.
Yes.
Just the picture.
Right here. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So looks like you're all the time. We come by ourselves.
I do once again want to express our appreciation to Judge Stephanie Steele for administering the oaths tonight. We appreciate her coming out here and spending her evening with us. And on behalf of your fellow board members and the administration and the entire school community, I just want to take this opportunity to welcome back PHM's newly re-elected board member, Mr. Ryan McCullough. And in a sense, a re-elected school board member, Mr. Gary Fox.
Sure.
And Katie, Mrs. Katie Bell, welcome. We are just so delighted to have you on the school board. Can we please give our new and re-elected school board members a hand, please? Our first item on the agenda tonight is the election of board officers. And we do have a member of the public who has signed up to speak on this agenda topic. So before I turn this matter over to our board attorney, Mr. John Rogers, to facilitate the item, I'll call on a member of the public in just a moment. But before I do recognize that there are members of the public who have signed up to speak on specific agenda topics, as well as members of the public who intend to address the board during our hearing of visitors. So if I can borrow the attention of anybody who is planning to address the board tonight, whether on a specific agenda topic or at the hearing of visitors, I'd like to go through some instructions really quickly. So we do have a member of the board who signed up to speak on this agenda item. These instructions will apply to all persons in the interest of orderly discourse who intend to address the board tonight. At regular board meetings, the public is invited to address the board on general topics under the hearing of visitors without registering. Individuals are also allowed to address the board on specific agenda items if they have registered. In any event, a time limit of 3 minutes shall be enforced for persons wishing to speak. Board Attorney, Mr. John Rogers, will keep time and will let you know as your time is expiring. It is requested that names and addresses be stated at the beginning of such comments. Individuals may only speak once during any section of the agenda. Please understand that personnel issues absolutely cannot be addressed during open sessions of the board. PHM is an employer and must comply with their own policies as well as those under state and federal law. These laws are designed to treat all employees fairly and to allow thorough review of matters, as the board would ultimately be a potential adjudicator of any future discipline and disciplinary action. The school board sets policy that guides disciplinary matters, and it cannot allow for public discussion of employees when it could potentially be in an adjudicatory role as well. Constitutional due process requires the school board to be a fair, impartial decision maker. PHM has a clearly defined procedure for personnel issues, that is, concerns about individual employees of the district should be brought to the superintendent or to his designee. I encourage anyone who has a personnel concern to voice that concern to the superintendent outside of a public meeting. Please use orderly and appropriate language and volume when addressing the board. Also, this is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board as a whole. Please refrain from directing your remarks to other members of the public who are in attendance tonight. Also, we welcome discussions about public issues, but not about people. Please refrain from discussing by name any PHM board member, administrator, or employee. I respectfully ask that anyone wishing to address the board abide by these instructions. The board attorney is here to ensure that the privacy rights of employees are carefully balanced with the public's right of free expression. Any violations of these instructions could result in the forfeiture of your remaining time. When we get to the hearing of visitors, please know that the board does not respond to questions or comments posed during the hearing of visitors. So with those instructions of mine, and with my apology for the delay in getting to you, I will recognize Mr. Brent Curtis, who has signed up to speak on the election of the officers. And I'll give him a moment to come in, as I think he might be in the overflow area. Hello, Mr. Curtis.
My name is Brent Curtis, and I have one child in Penn schools. The dawn of a new year brings a lot of excitement to PHM and to this board. New faces, new officers, new ideas, new opportunities. Inevitably, there will be new hurdles to overcome and new problems to resolve. That's normal. It doesn't mean this board can or won't be successful. It just means that in the normal course of business, there will be bumps along the way and potholes to navigate. Expect it and embrace it. Know that the road to success is not always the smoothest path. Tonight, I make a plea to each of you. Incumbent members, please welcome the new members with open arms and, more importantly, an open mind. Not only because they were duly elected, but because you recognize that a diverse group of individuals with dissimilar thinking produces constructive criticisms, productive conversations, and creative solutions. Excuse me. Accept differences of opinion and the challenges that come with them. That is how you help this board reach its full potential. New members, I ask that you execute your term with a tolerant and impartial mindset. Be steadfast in your commitment and do not allow others to impart their opinions on you. Instead, analyze things independently and form your own opinions. Remain objective at all times. That is how you help this board reach its full potential. There are high expectations for each of you. Approach this year with a sense of renewed hope and unbridled enthusiasm. You will never achieve perfection, but you can achieve excellence. I encourage you to work with and for each other, not against each other. This board will be judged as a group, not as individuals. Success will come from collaboration and cooperation. Your ability to work together will empower you. Avoid internal conflicts and mitigate the dissension that was witnessed this past year. Strength is in restraint. Support your fellow board members at all times, even in disagreement. That is how you help PHM reach its full potential. I wish you all a blessed and happy new year, and in advance, I thank you for giving your best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Curtis. Mrs. Hugenboom, I don't have anybody else who pre-registered to speak on this. Do you?
There are no others.
With that in mind, then, Board Attorney, Mr. John Rogers, I will turn this matter over to you to facilitate.
Thank you. At this time, I would call for nominations for officers for 2025, and we'll begin with the office of the president.
I move that Chris Riley be elected to the PHM Board of School Trustees in the position of president.
I second the nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we will now take a vote. All those in favor for Mr. Chris Riley as president of the PHM Board of School Trustees, vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
The motion carries for Chris Riley as president of the PHM Board of School Trustees by the vote of 6-1. I would now call for the nominations for the office of vice president for the PHM Board of School Trustees for 2025.
I nominate and move that Ryan McCullough be elected vice president of the PHM Board of School Trustees.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, we will now vote. All those in favor for Ryan McCullough as vice president of the PHM Board of School Trustees, vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
The motion carries for Ryan McCullough as vice president of the PHM Board of School Trustees by the vote of 6-1. Finally, I call for the nominations for the office of secretary for PHM Board of School Trustees for 2025. Are there any nominations?
I nominate and move that Dana Sullivan be elected secretary of the PHM Board of School Trustees.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, we will now vote for Ms. Dana Sullivan as secretary for the PHM Board of School Trustees. Those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
The motion carries for Dana Sullivan as secretary of the PHM Board of School Trustees by the vote of 6-1. These three members will serve as board officers for 2025. Mr. Chris Riley as president, Mr. Ryan McCullough as vice president, and Ms. Dana Sullivan as secretary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rogers.
With the new cabinet in place, I would like to take a moment to recognize Chris Riley and his past tenure as the leadership and board president, and all the service and leadership you've shown us through the last 12 months. We appreciate your decision to and your hard work and your steadfast behavior on the board. And we just wanted to give you a small token of gratitude with this plaque honoring your 2024. I should have taken out the class. I drop things. As my wife could attest.
Thank you
You bet.
very much, Mr. McCullough. I appreciate it. It's been an honor to serve on this board. It's been an extraordinary honor to serve as president of the board. I appreciate the collaboration of my colleagues, and two of whom I want to mention and spend some time recognizing. The first is you. I can't tell you how many times I have been better off after having spoken to you, sought your advice on how to handle things and how to proceed. You've been an extraordinary co-partner in helping to lead this board. I apologize for the number of times I've called you, especially late at night. I appreciate you not blocking me yet. But Ryan, a lot of the success of this corporation is also attributable to you, and I appreciate you deeply. I want to say also, in her absence, Claire Roach, who served as secretary, was another confidant, and I appreciated her very deeply in the time that she served as secretary of the board. Her insights as well were invaluable, and so, Ms. Roach, if you're watching somewhere, just know you are remembered and you are appreciated for everything that you've done for this school board. Appreciate you both very much, and I look forward to this next year and in increasing the accomplishments that PHM has amassed so far.
Just stay healthy this year, would you?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, buddy. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the superintendent's recognitions and announcements. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. At this time, and I'd like to say welcome back, Happy New Year. It's really an exciting time for PHM. So many great things going on. I look on this crowd and see so many gifted educators. Thank you for providing such a fabulous service in this community. And so now I'm going to introduce an amazing student, our ambassador, CJ Vantine from Penn High School.
Good evening, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, and both new and old members of the board. As aforementioned, I am CJ Vantine, and I'm here to just share some recent accomplishments of Penn High School's community. As some of you may remember from last November, I like to call my little section of the meeting, The More You Know. To get us started, did you know that this Friday, 2 Lady Kingsmen will travel to the Indiana State Fairgrounds for the first ever girls wrestling IHSAA sanctioned state finals? This comes after the team placed 6th at the Goshen Regional, with Amani Reed placing 2nd at the meet and Haley Horwath placing 4th. Did you know that the Penn varsity boys bowling team won the sectional championship just this past weekend? They will move on to regionals in 2 weeks, and the varsity girls bowling team won the conference championship and were the runner-up team at sectionals. They will also be moving on to regionals. The varsity bowlers moving on to regionals individually are Sophia Monroe, Zoe Crawford, Maddie McGinnis, Will White, and Aaron Taylor Jr. Bowling is a sport I feel like you don't hear too much about, so it's nice to see they're succeeding at Penn. In spring sports news, it was announced this morning that Penn Spanish teacher Kelly Watts and her husband Mark Watts have been hired as co-head coaches of the Penn boys volleyball team. This will be the first IHSAA sanctioned season for the team and the second for the Penn team. In the world of literature, did you know that senior Sarah Rooney was named a winner with distinction in the National Young Arts Writing Competition? Rooney wrote a short story called Marvin, which was about a boy and his goldfish and the magic of childhood, friendship, and imagination. According to the Young Arts website, winners of the competition are chosen for their caliber of artistic achievement by esteemed panels of artists through a judgment process that includes multiple rounds of review. And did you know that after a decade wait has come to an end, the Penn High School Talent Show returns next week on Wednesday. Auditions are right now, and again, the actual show is next Wednesday. All I know is there were 21 applicants for the performance and only 10 can make it, and we'll find out the act soon. Penn News Network will be on the scene for a live broadcast on YouTube. And then, for our last point, did you know the debate team has had a successful start to their season? Most recently was their home tournament and the Chesterton tournament. At the home tournament, Sarah Rooney placed second in the Lincoln Douglas debate. Kai King and Nora McKinney placed first in cross-examination, and Amina Spahik and Rebecca Wolter took first in public forum. At the Chesterton tournament, Ishita Massady took first in Congress, Paola Noguera Urbina placed first in Lincoln Douglas, and Ava Lightburn and Lena Kahn took first in cross-examination. Penn placed first in that tournament with 93 points overall. I'm hoping the team can win state again this season, as I'm sure Mr. Starkweather, the coach, made another ridiculous deal this year that was similar to him having to shave his head because they won state last year. I guess that's all the more you need to know for this month. I'll see you again next month for the next installment of The More You Know with CJ Van Tine. Thank you for your time.
Well, now you can't leave us.
Yeah, we need the wager.
Now there is something we need to know. What is the wager?
For the debate?
Yes.
I'm not on the team, I'm not sure, but I know last year he made a bet with the team that he would shave his head if they won the state, and
Oh,
they
we
did.
vividly remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a different man. All right, so are you covering the talent show for Penn News Network? Are you
Yes.
part of that? Excellent. So we're going to be looking for those updates on Instagram, Facebook, and elsewhere. Thank you always, CJ. You've done a great job. See you soon.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our Impact Recognition Awards. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley, Board Trustees. We're extremely excited to invite our first round of Impact Award recipients to the board meeting this evening. The Impact Awards were created to celebrate some of the amazing academic growth that has happened in our classrooms throughout the district. But Dr. Short is going to provide a few more details and introduce our amazing winners. Dr. Short.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, and members of the board. We are incredibly excited to welcome our Impact Award winners for round one for 2024-2025. And we have several who were able to join us this evening. Just as a reminder, last year we created the Impact Awards in order to celebrate some of our teachers who have just done amazingly well with student growth. So again, it's not just the highest performing students or the teachers that have the highest performing students. Truly, it is data that we take from both formative and summative assessments. And then we are able to identify different teachers in different pockets, K through 12, across the entire district who were able to celebrate. And I want to thank our PHM Education Foundation because they are the ones who are co-participatory with this. And they have been very, very helpful. And Mrs. Sternbaum comes to as many of these surprise awards as possible. So as I'm introducing some of our award winners, in the background, you'll see the slideshow. And this is something that, thank you to Luja Ring and her team. They are on site with us when we are able to make these surprise announcements. And so you'll see the names flipping through and just telling you that they are Impact Award winners, and then we will introduce them and I'll ask them to stand as I announce who they are. So with that said, Allie Renz is with us this evening. Allie, will you stand for us? You're going first. So Allie is an interventionist with us at Elm Road Elementary, and her data is outstanding. She is making fabulous growth with her students, and she is working diligently in a lot of different ways and with a lot of different assessments. So we appreciate Allie, and we wanted to celebrate her publicly this evening. So, Allie. Sarah Budd is also with us this evening. Sarah is an exceptional education teacher at Meadows Edge Elementary School. She also does outstanding work, not only as a leader in the building, helping with a lot of the other assistants that help our students, but she does a great job with her small group instruction and is able to make great gains with her students. So congratulations to Sarah. Holly is a reading specialist at Elsie Rogers, And she does outstanding work in the area of early literacy and literacy skills. And as everyone knows, that is a huge area of focus for us this year. So we are incredibly thankful to have Holly and really happy to celebrate the growth of her students at LC. Grace Blanchard, I don't think was able to join, okay? But I will go ahead and tell you that Grace is a teacher at Discovery Middle School, and she had the highest growth in 6th grade ELA on her iLearn checkpoint. So she did an outstanding job as well this year. Brianne Blanda, I believe, is with us. Here she is. So Brianne is an excellent teacher at Grissom Middle School. She had the highest growth in 7th grade ELA for the entire district. So. LA High is with us. LA is a math teacher at Specker Middle School and also had the highest growth of his entire grade level, 8th grade math. So 8th grade math this fall. So congratulations. Join. Okay, but I will tell you, Dawn Bullock teaches AP statistics, and she had the largest amount of students across the state of Indiana who passed with a 3 or higher last year on the AP stats exam, which is amazing. Yeah. So again, I just want to thank all of our educators for their dedication and everything they do day in and day out, and we're so excited to be able to celebrate you this evening. Dr. Thacker, would you like some pictures?
Great job. You know how much we love our high performing teachers. Come on up here, you champion. Thank you, good work.
In the middle.
Thank you.
Dr. Thacker, some may have some guests that they might want to.
Oh, no guesses.
Put you right in. All right.
Okay, look right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just a couple more. Thank you. Congratulations.
Before we leave, do any of you have any special guests you'd like to recognize? Fan club, right?
My wife Emily is joining me tonight.
I have a husband. That's an overflow area.
Hello. How you doing? Good. How are you? See you. Good. Here, let's go in front.
This is my husband, Jerry.
Good, how are you?
Sarah, who do you have with you?
I have my daughter Penelope, my middle child Louie, and my oldest George, and my husband Brian. And they all go to Meadows, so.
Okay, let's take another one. Everybody smile. Should be beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
So much. Oh, thank you. It's my middle name. My middle name is Lou Allen.
Oh, it's it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, and members of the audience. That concludes the presentation portions of our school board meeting. You're more than welcome to stay for the regular business portion of the meeting. If you'd like to get home and to have dinner or get working on homework, now would be a great time to leave. We'll pause for just a second. Okay, we're going to move on to the adoption of the agenda. Board members, any additions or changes to the proposed agenda? Administration.
The administration has no changes.
Motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. On to the approval of minutes. Board members, any additions or changes to the minutes from the December 9, 2024 regular board meeting? Administration,
The administration has no changes.
motion to approve.
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Move to the consent agenda. Dr. Thacker, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, President Riley, Board of Trustees. The administration recommends approval of the consent agenda as presented. Appearing on the personnel report of classified staff is the retirement of one classified staff member, Sarah Bogart, education assistant at Schmucker Middle School, who retired on December 20th, 2024 after 14 years of dedicated service. On behalf of the board administration, we wish Tara the very best in her upcoming retirement.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. Board members, any questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the January 13, 2025 consent agenda as presented by Dr. Thacker?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye. Any opposed, vote nay.
Abstain.
Thank you, Mr. Chaffee. So we'll show, actually, I don't know that I called in for any nays. Are there any nays? We'll show that the vote carries by a vote of 6 in favor with 1 abstention. We'll move to our next agenda item. Dr. Thacker, you have some additional information to share?
I do indeed. We're very, very pleased to be able to, you just approved 2 appointments that would be administrators. And so I'd like to first begin by welcoming Mr. J.R. Westfield as our new custodial operations manager. J.R. brings over, why don't you come up and I'll say some things about you and then let you talk, okay? Welcome. We're delighted you're here.
Thank you.
He's a young looking guy, right? He is a young guy. He brings over 23 years of extensive experience in facility operations and management. He currently serves as the custodial manager for SSE, that'd be Services for Education. That's a contracted service with South Bend. And then he stepped into this role in July after relocating the PHM school district. Made a great choice with his family where they now reside. Before moving to Granger, JR held many key leadership positions. One was a general manager at AR Janitorial, one's general manager at Aramark, one was the director of events and operations at Oakview Group. He's from Galene, Michigan, and he's an alumnus of Central Michigan University, where he earned a degree in facility management. Comes highly recommended from all of his colleagues, all the recommendations that we had. The hiring committee is confident that JR's commitment to excellence and his collaborative spirit will make him a valuable addition to our team. JR and his wife, Sarah, are proud members of the PHM community. They have 2 daughters, Zoe, a 4th grader, and Lucy, a kindergartner, both attending Horizon Elementary School. So it's my pleasure to welcome our custodial operations manager, Mr. Westfield.
No, good evening, and thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, and esteemed members of the school board, faculty, and staff. It is truly an honor to be here tonight and be welcomed to your remarkable team as the new custodial operations manager. Like you said, I have over 2 decades of experience in facility management, and I've seen firsthand the critical role that well-maintained, clean, and safe environments play in supporting education and fostering the success of both students and staff. I'm excited to bring my knowledge, my dedication, and like you said, my collaborative spirit to this district. I look forward to building on the strong foundation that is already in place, addressing any new challenges with some innovative solutions, and ensuring that our schools are just not functional, but are truly exceptional spaces for learning and growth. Like Dr. Thacker said, I have 2 young girls, which just gives me that extra motivation to provide the best in-class service that we can from my department. So again, thank you all for this opportunity to serve. I look forward to working closely with all of you to achieve our shared goals for the benefit of this community. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome to PHM. Let's
Thank
take a
you so
picture.
All right.
Come on, you're gonna get like 8,000.
I love it. I love swag. Where's my gear?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
No. No. The bedtime's coming soon, so.
I better not be.
Next, please join me in welcoming Mr. Stephen Miskin as our new Associate Director of Facilities. Mr. Miskin is succeeding Jason Mester, who was promoted to the Director of Facilities. He brings over 3 decades of experience as a facility operations and manager. He currently serves as the Director of Facilities for School City of Mishawaka, a position he's held since 2022. He's had a number of key facility positions. He was has similar backgrounds, and Director of Facilities for SSE, Director of Buildings and Grounds for South Bend, Assistant Director of Buildings and Grounds, Building Engineer for South Bend Community School Corporation. So actually, we've talked to people locally, and I've just heard glowing things about you. Today, I was at an event at noon, and people were saying great things about you. So we're delighted to have you here. All of his references are great, comes highly recommended, and the hiring committee also believes he's going to make great contributions, and he's committed to excellence, and he's highly collaborative as well. So Steve and his wife Ann are proud parents of Penn High School graduates from 2009, 12, and 13, and currently have 2 grandchildren in the school system. Kale, a 5th grader, and Declan, a 2nd grader, both attending Elmwood Elementary School. It's my pleasure to introduce our Associate Director of Facilities, Mr. Miskin.
Thank you. President Riley, Dr. Thacker, ladies and gentlemen of the board, faculty and staff, what a pleasure. Happy New Year, everybody. I mean, I think that I'm going for the trifecta of working for, wasn't my intention, but, you know, I love what I do. I love, you know, looking back when we construct something or when we build something, and just to know that, you know, how it's going to be utilized by the students. And that was my ultimate goal from day one, is just, you know, it's about the kids. And, you know, making sure that their needs came first, and just that they were safe, secure, and just, you know, had a good foundation. And just with our own kids, you know, going to PHM schools, I mean, the foundation that was created and launched them into their professional careers, and now my grandchildren, and I see the same teachers that taught my kids, you know, it's just heartwarming. I feel like I've reached the pinnacle of my career. Coming here, just, you know, when you're a director as long as I've been with, you know, past school districts I've worked at, you see guys that, you know, that I came up with through the ranks that are retired, and Tom Harton was one of them. And so, I mean, he means a lot to me. We still see him in our area directors meetings. And I think, man, I should be at that table, but I guess I'm not there yet. So I love talking about other people. I don't like talking about me. I welcome to work with my new co-partners and Jason Mesner. I mean, I just want to be part of the team and just take it to the next level, and just do a great job for you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know it's so popular. Okay, glad you're here. Thank you.
Right here. All right, that's good, thank you.
Anybody here you'd like to represent?
All right, Ann.
Please stand.
No, she's
Come
coming to
on
be.
up. Yeah, I'm a great man.
Thank
You're part of that triangle success.
Yeah. Thank you. Right here, there's the three. It's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, finally, appearing on the personnel report, it was just introduced, are 2 new coaching appointments we'd like to introduce. These are 2 of my favorite people. And I'm going to say Kelly and Mark Watts are the new Penn High School boys volleyball coaches, ready to sport. But I'm going to have our athletic director, Mr. Jeff Hart, introduce this. Mr. Hart.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, Board of Trustees. I am grateful to be here tonight, of course, and excited to announce that we indeed are offering boys volleyball as our 22nd IHSA sport here at Penn High School. Our inaugural season kicks off in March. I'm here tonight to introduce the coaches that we've tasked with leading this new program forward. We began this process the interview process in early December, and pretty quickly we found exactly who we were looking for, and we found it in a husband and wife team. So based on the unique strengths and experience they each bring, Kelly and Mark Watts will oversee this program's co-coaches. Kelly will act as a head coach for purposes of IHSA documentation, and she's in the building. She'll work closely with the athletic department on a daily basis. Mark is uniquely qualified, having played the sport at a high level. He possesses extensive coaching experience with both boys and girls programs. Obviously, his technical expertise, his understanding of the game stood out to us. He'll provide a solid framework for developing skills, strategy, and overall program competitive, which we all know is important here. Kelly certainly is a well-respected and popular teacher within our school community. She has a proven ability, as we all know, to connect with students. She builds relationships. She'll encourage participation and engagement. She also has extensive coaching experience, and her leadership qualities are going to be instrumental in creating a positive team culture. These two bleed black and gold. I almost said scarlet and gray, but
But you wanted to stay out of jail.
They bleed black and gold. And they are strong advocates for promoting our department's vision of education-based athletics here at Penn High School. I believe this unique approach is going to set our boys volleyball program on a path to success both on and off the court. And I'm thrilled to ask them to stand up and say a few words tonight. Thank you.
Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board, it's our great honor to accept this position of co-head coaches of Penn Boys Volleyball. Both of us have had a passion and a love of the game for quite a few years. It was in 1998 that our paths crossed by the game of volleyball in a gym in Logansport, Indiana, under a superintendent named Dr. Jerry Thacker. While we were dating, we helped each other with our respective teams. Mine, him coming down to help me with the Logansport Berries, and me just every once in a while being able to help him with another school that's just down the road a little bit, but we won't mention them. We ran summer camps together and enjoyed different insights and talents that we each brought to the gym. And we had always hoped to coach a team together, but the opportunity never arose until just now. Penn-Harris-Madison has been so good to us as teachers and employees. And when the state of Indiana sanctioned the sport of volleyball for boys, we knew this was our opportunity to give back to a school and a community and the young men who we hope will love this game as much as us. While we know we face a huge challenge as we get to start in March, and it is now almost the middle of January, we're very excited for this opportunity. And our goal is to be as successful as many of the other programs here at Penn High School. Excellence breeds excellence, and so we are going to work very hard to add just as much hardware to the trophy case as possible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Proud of you guys.
Right here. Couple more. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good luck for the great season.
We can express our congratulations and our gratitude to JR, to Stephen, to Kelly, and to Mark for their new roles. Also, before we move on, I want to take a moment and Tara Bogart, I want to thank you for your 14 years of service to Schmucker Middle School. Enjoy your retirement. We wish you Godspeed and all the health and enjoyment in life that you deserve. We'll move on to our next item, which is the instruction report. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley, Board of Trustees. We're now going to have presentations from the Fine Arts and Communications Academy and the Management and Business Academy at Penn High School. And Dr. Short will facilitate this.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley. We are excited this evening to welcome two different academies here. We do have Fine Arts and Communications as well as Business Academy. We have two outstanding leaders that will be presenting to you this evening. Mr. Glenn Northern is our Academy Leader for the Fine Arts Academy, and he will be talking to us as well as a couple of the students, which are great to hear from, as well as Mr. Kyle Barris, who is the Business Academy Leader for the Business Academy. He will also bring a couple of students to share some fun, exciting things, and we have a lot of things to celebrate coming forward. So, Mr. Northern, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board. I'm actually not going to speak to you very much. I'm going to turn this over to two students, Toby Prince and Elise Royer from Penn High School, both very active in the Fine Arts Academy. And we're going to start with Toby.
Hi, my name is Toby Prince. I'm a junior at Penn High School, and Fine Arts has been doing a lot this year. Students in Alex Dunphy's digital design class have been doing some really exciting projects this school year. The enrollment in the class has grown exponentially in the last few years since she took over the program, and students' work has now branched out into providing services for the real needs of the Penn High School. Senior Avery Pollock has created a logo package for the Kingsman Court. He has also made a door magnet signs to highlight Teachers of the Month, and is now creating marketing materials for the first robotics tournament being held at Penn at the end of February. The digital design classes also create the agenda planner covers for the elementary schools and design staff shirts that encompass the theme of the year. Students are working with the food services department to create banners to inform and promote awareness of the new vending machines. Our advanced drawing students in Ann Napoli's class recently collaborated with the South Bend Museum of Art in the Day of the Dead celebration. This collaboration was also recently featured on the WNIT and PBS television show Education Counts. Penn Theater has had a very busy semester. In September, the department had auditions for our upcoming musical, The SpongeBob Musical, which will open in March. In October, Penn Theater debuted its first 11th Hour Theater Festival. This event featured students writing, directing, acting, and performing short plays in front of a panel of judges all within 11 hours. In November, cast and crew performed the play Property Rights at Penn. Our students also performed Property Rights for the Indiana Thespians Association regional competition at Warsaw High School, where it tied for second place. The advanced dance classes performed a recital in December in which students selected the music, created and taught the choreography, designed the lighting and scenes for each music. Opportunities such as these are transformational learning moments for all of Penn Dance students. The next Penn Dance student will be the Penn Dance recital will be the Penn Dance Classic on May 22nd and 23rd.
Hi, my name is Elise Royer, and I'm a senior class of 2025, and the musical division of the Fine Arts Office has also been up to a lot. 7 choir students from Penn were recently selected to be members of the All-State Honor Choir this year. Caitlin Levon, Eric Rauschenberg, Grace Kazimierek, Jack Mead, Justin Meacham, Locke Simpson, and Lucas Robertson. The Bella Voce Choir gave a performance at St. Mary's College on Friday, November 22nd, and the choir's Sounds of the Season concert took place on December 5th and 6th. This year's concert featured a collaboration with the Penn Symphonic Orchestra. Members of Viva Voce and the Penn Symphonic Orchestra hosted a madrigal dinner on December 14th. This performance intertwines dinner theater with music of the Renaissance and medieval periods. In March, members of the Gold Standard, Bella Voce, and Cantabile Voices will perform the Lord of the Rings Symphony with the South Bend Youth Symphony Orchestra and the Notre Dame Children's Choir. The Viva Voce and Rhapsody choirs also gave numerous community performances during the month of December. In addition to the December collaborations with the Penn choirs, 2 Penn Orchestra students, Rhea Friedrich and Joshua John, were accepted into the Indiana All-State Orchestra. On November 14th, 8 violinists from Symphonic Orchestra performed with the popular piano duo, the Piano Guys, at the Bluegate Center for the Performing Arts in Shipshewana, Indiana. The Penn Marching Kingsmen completed their season with an 11th place finish at the ISSMA semi-state contest. The band has also been invited to march in the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade on November 27th, 2025. The Penn Concert Bands and Jazz Ensembles performed at their annual Kaleidoscope concert at November 21st. The Penn Symphonic Winds traveled to Purdue University Fort Wayne on December 3rd to perform a concert with their university bands. The band also worked with composer Viet Quang, professor of composition at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, on a performance of his composition entitled Lasting Light. The band also toured the Purdue Fort Wayne Music Technology facilities at the Sweetwater Complex in Fort Wayne. The Penn Jazz Ensembles will be hosting an evening of jazz on Friday, February 7th at the St. Mark Missionaries Church.
In addition, for 2024, PHM was again named to the National Association of Music Merchants Best Communities for Music Education. This year, there were 16 school districts from the state of Indiana that were listed out of 975 nationwide. And I think this is about our 13th consecutive year to receive that honor. If there's any questions I can answer for you, I'm happy to do that.
Board members, any questions or comments?
I would say thank you to the board and the administration at Penn High School, at all of our PHM schools, and at the ESC for all the support you give to fine arts. Some recent decisions at the State Board of Education have resulted in Indiana becoming only the second school in the country that will no longer require a fine arts course as part of their graduation diplomas, which means it'll be more important than ever that each community supports their fine arts programs. So thank you for everything you do.
We appreciate the kind words, but all the thanks belong to you and to Mr. Barris and to our students. It's just amazing year in, year out, the quality of our fine arts program. And congratulations on once again being nominated as one of the best communities for music education in Indiana. That's an incredible achievement.
And there's a lot of things that go into that, including the support, like the questions about scheduling, how many minutes of instruction do students get? What are the budgets like for elementary, middle school, high school? The amount of questions we answer to achieve that status is really amazing, and including what's it like in the community? How does the community support what we do in fine arts and music?
What you've done here is unparalleled. You've done an extraordinary job. Thank you, Mr. Northern, very much for what you've done with our fine arts program. And Toby and Elise, thank you guys for coming tonight and presenting to us. So Elise, you're a senior. What does next year look like for you?
I'm hoping to go to Purdue and study visual communication design. Yeah.
There are some approving nods I see in the audience. There's some yes. Good for you. Toby, will you come back next year and let us know how things are going?
Absolutely.
We appreciate both of you guys coming in. Pass along, please, to all the students who you report on tonight, our deepest congratulations. So many accomplishments you guys went through. Is great. I did see a clip of Zach and Ashlyn performing with the piano guys. I saw it on social media somewhere. It was really, really cool. So pass along our congratulations to everybody. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you guys are doing too.
Thank you for having us.
And good luck with Purdue. We'll move on.
I got slides.
Oh, come on up.
So I think my slides were on the same, they were just at the end of it, but while you're getting that up. Thank you to Dr. Thacker, President Riley, and the other members of the board. Also want to extend a congratulations and welcome to the new members of the board. So
Thank you.
yeah, happy to be here. All right, so thank you. There we go. Here's mine. All right. So I'm Kyle Barris. Again, I'm here to talk about all the cool things we are doing in the Management and Business Academy. I'm joined by Matthew and Denzel. They're going to be, I'll go through this and then I'll let them kind of go over what they have. But again, excited to be here. This is my third year as the Business Academy leader. And yeah, let's go over all the cool stuff we're doing. So just kind of our courses. I was afraid I got a little video I was going to show, but I can talk about what was on it. So we have, again, accounting, business law, our computer science pathway, which is really growing. And Lindsay Tippett has, I think this is her second year taking over for Nancy Duncan. She's doing some amazing work with computer science. So personal finance, we also have a new teacher, Scott Zerfus, took over from Morgan O'Grady. So he's kind of taken over that personal finance. I believe this is our first year with a semester personal finance and then a full year dual credit personal finance. Management, John Carroll teaches that. I kind of run the marketing pathway, and I am in charge of the work-based learning internship. So on this slide, I wanted to give kind of our educators in that department, a very small department, but we're doing a lot of really cool things, a shout out. So John Carroll, for example, in his last year in the sports marketing class, he kind of set out to a community project that we're all trying to do within the school. He set out on a mission to make the all sports passes cheaper for students. I believe they were, is Jeff still in here? Jeff's gone. But I believe they were around $50 per student. So he set on a goal to knock that price down to $20 a student. And with the project his class put together and a bunch of donations from a lot of people and a lot of pitches to businesses and, you know, real life learning, when you got to make money for a good cause, he was able to get the price down to, I believe, $23. And what he saw was we went from 200-ish sports passes sold to 422 this year. So incredible. I mean, that's 200 more kids that might go to every game, basketball, whatever. So that was a really cool project. In computer science, this little video that I had was she had her kids put together. They coded and created games. So I can't remember what this game was, but they were like a 2D game. I think I had like a little like Legend of Zelda one, not like the new one, like on the Nintendo Switch, but one you might see on like the 1980s, like Nintendo. But the kids made it, right? Like it is from scratch, coding, way above my head stuff that they're doing in there. So just some really cool projects. Scott Zerfus in his new year, personal finance. I think that's the one thing when you have parents coming here, they're like, oh, we should be teaching, you know, personal finance and talking about taxes and all this stuff. That's what he's doing in there. So he is putting together some lifelong lessons, talking about investments, okay, talking about investments in real estate, talking about how to access home loans and, you know, what the interest rates are, how to manage your credit scores, how to, you know, achieve good credit, what good credit versus bad credit is, all that type of stuff. So again, we kind of strive for real, relevant things that these kids are really going to be able to take away. And our teachers are doing a really, really great job of that, you know, through all these examples that I talked about. So there we go. One thing I have to mention is kind of a part of the Business Academy are these great career and technical student organizations. The one I run that I've been running is DECA. Hopefully you guys are familiar with that by now. We're doing awesome things. Matthew is the our Penn DECA president. He's also the Region 1 president. Region 1, I'll let him tell you all about that with schools and that kind of in our northern area. But this year, Penn DECA has over 240 student members, which is incredible. I believe we're the largest academic club at Penn. And last year, we had over 25 members qualify for our International Career and Development Conference. And then a special shout out to Chris Chen and David Garachi, who got second place in the nation in their event, which is incredible. A first at Penn. You can see them on the PowerPoint with their big, we call it the DECA glass. So just a shout out to them. DECA is doing incredible things. We just got first place at our district event. We won the sweepstakes award and sent several kids that are going to now be competing in the state competition. So shout out to DECA. Matthew will be able to talk about that. Okay, and just work-based learning, some ongoing initiatives. So as Glenn mentioned, at the top, the Indiana Department of Education kind of changed some things around. Well, one of the big things that they're focusing on is definitely work-based learning. So obviously Penn is looking at this as an opportunity. So we are trying to add in and kind of get a step ahead and have a really good system in place for this next level of what the graduation pathways and requirements are. And a big part of that is the work-based learning internship programs. We recently sent out a survey to all 10th graders to gauge interest in kind of career fields so we can help organize. And my goal within the next 1 or 2 years is that a kid signs up for an internship and they go, yeah, I'm interested in, accounting and finance. And that we are able to work with our community partners and say, Jimmy is interested in accounting. Here are 10 available internships to offer. And we're working with several community partners. I know we're working with Cohorn Financial. That's a new kind of project. They're going to take 3 students and start a new finance internship. So some really great things there. And again, we're kind of learning as we go, but that's going to be a big part of graduation in the state of Indiana, it looks like. So again, as Penn usually tries to do, we're going to try to be a leader, innovator, and kind of on top of those things. So I'm really excited to do that. And again, what helps is work with those community partners, which makes projects like what John Carroll did, and raising money and doing things and having all these great resources. The more you are out in your community, it really helps. So the Business Academy is really, that's one thing we try to do. And we have the students, we have the teachers to do those things. So I'm really excited. So speaking of those, talking about those students, who wants to go first for you? Denzel, okay. I'd like to introduce Denzel. He's gonna go first and tell you about his experience.
Hey guys, how we doing tonight?
Doing great.
That's good to hear. I'm Denzel Molawanta. I'm a senior here at Penn, and I want to take you guys back to 2020. All right, pretty good year. That's when I was in 8th grade, and I was deciding, man, what am I going to do in high school? I was looking through the list of all the options that we got, and I chose marketing. Seemed pretty cool. And fast forward in marketing class, freshman, no idea what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And I remember the biggest impact was when we did presentations. I was a freshman, right? We did those presentations. I seen other kids, they're in it for a little bit, and they were killing it. I was like, you know what? I want to do that. So I worked hard, got up to it, tried things, pros and cons, got in there. Marketing, for me, easy peasy as pie. And I will say, I've had the great privilege to be in Mr. Carroll's class and Mr. Barris's class. They taught me a lot of good things, got me into a lot of different positions, especially outside of work. Done a lot of fun things. And through those experiences, especially with how important it is to have practical skills, presentation skills, and marketing knowledge, doors open everywhere. And if the doors don't open, the windows open. And as I continue through, senior year, going to college, find those opportunities for success, and not just finding them, but getting them, keeping them, staying at the top, gotta keep it. In life, a lot of good leadership roles. And looking back, I can't wait to pursue college and see where it takes me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board, thank you all so much for having this opportunity for me to come up to speak. And a big thank you to Mr. Barris. I mean, you saw on the screen, I'll be talking a lot about Penn DECA, especially over 240 members, and he is the only advisor that we have for that. So he oversees every operation, managing, the funds to get us there. It is a huge operation. We couldn't have done anything without him. So I do want to thank him in particularly. But yes, my name is Matthew Deal. I am the current president of Penn High DECA. I'm also the regional president for Indiana DECA. So for those of you who don't know, I know we have some new faces on the board tonight, but DECA is an international organization bringing hundreds of thousands of students across the world from, I think, over 13 different nations together through business competitions and professional development. So part of my role, was overseeing to different operations at Penn and also acting as a liaison, kind of including all schools from Gary, kind of down through Elkhart, all of them. I'll go down to Indy. It's a long drive there and back, but it's worth it for such a good business club. And now I could spend, hours up here bragging about DECA. We just had, I don't know, probably over 100 people qualify for our state competition. That's just on the role play side. We'll have more on the written event side as well. We have had so many people under the leadership of Mr. Barris qualify as finalists at internationals, not just Chris and David, but we had even more be in the top 10 and the top 20 internationally, which is crazy. I mean, you're competing against kids from Texas, California, Germany, all around the world. And Penn is among the best, which is just crazy. It's just outstanding and really shows our success through business. But now what you might be thinking is DECA. Anyone who's ever heard DECA is like, what the heck does that stand for? And most people probably can't give you a good answer. And now the technical answer is it stands for the Distributive Educational Clubs of America, which is boring as heck. You know, no wonder they call it DECA and not say it out every time. But what I always say when people ask me, what does DECA stand for? And I'll tell them that. But I'll say what it truly stands for and what it truly means for me and for hundreds of thousands of kids around the world and for hundreds of kids at Penn is really an opportunity. It's an opportunity to find community because you're going to be working with so many different people, just like in life. I mean, you'll be having partners, maybe you'll fight a little bit, you know, over what business ideas, right? You might have 20 minutes. You have to come up with those real solutions, working with each other. You'll be able to make legitimate business connections. You'll be able to legitimately grow your ability to work with other people. It's the opportunity to learn more educational and vocational skills. You know, it's not only competition that DECA offers. In November, we went down to Butler University for a full day of fun at their fall leadership conference, where we learned tons of different professional development skills, how to make a resume, you know, how to have good in business, how to grow your service. Because, you know, DECA and business and what Penn is doing is not just about profit maximization. It's about building legitimate business leaders for tomorrow. And that does include ethics. That does include incorporating technology. And Penn DECA really helps do just that. And I always say, it's also the opportunity for failure, which is not really what the triangle success is. You probably don't hear many people saying, hey, failure. But in the business sense, failure is something that's paramount to success in the end. I mean, the ability to fail among your peers, the ability to look beside you and help other people get back up, the ability to see flaws in business and be able to help work to correct them, that's really what business is about. It's about understanding your own faults and the faults in the world and being able to work with one another to build something better. And that's exactly what the values that Penn DECA really can instill. And so, you know, it's not just about those 4 letters. It's not just about the incredible amount of trophies. I encourage you all to go to the Penn DECA Instagram if you haven't. We had Mr. Barris put on all the medals we got at districts, and it's like he's nearly choking because there's so many. But it's not just about that. It is so much more. It's about building a home. It's about building a community. And with the support of great community leaders like you, we hope we'll be able to continue this for years to come. So thank you. That's all I have.
Again, actually tough act to come even back up and follow. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. A lot of the values he talked about in Penn DECA we strive for in the entire Business Academy. I think we do a good job. So if you guys have any questions,
We think you do a great job.
Thank you.
Beyond
appreciate
good,
it.
great.
I appreciate it. We
Board
work
members, any
really
questions or comments?
I want to say something real quick, just a personal note with Matthew. Many of you have probably never heard this before, but I had my 4th child was born extremely prematurely and spent months in the NICU. Matthew was in the crib next to him. So Matthew's mom and I, Dawn, if you're watching, we spent many times in the NICU crying about babies and what would they be like? Are they going to make it? What are they? And to see you up here giving this, it's making me very emotional. You're great.
Other comments or questions?
Matthew, there's also a recent award he was acknowledged for.
Yes.
Am I missing? Did we announce it in December?
That's true.
Yeah, we did announce it in December?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Congratulations
Thank you
again.
so
Now
much.
you're here in person on the Lilly Award. That's outstanding. And Denzel, been in sales and marketing for 25 years. You're way ahead. Personality is everything, and you've already got that, but just keep it up.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Barris, thank you so much. What an incredible presentation. We appreciate all the work that you put into the program. And Denzel, I quite agree. You've got a great, promising career ahead of you in marketing. As a side gig, you might consider stand-up and improv.
I was working on that one. That comes later on tonight.
What does next year look like for you, buddy?
For me, going to college, Ivy Tech, cybersecurity, and then eventually in the military.
Oh, no kidding. Did you pick out a branch?
Army, all the way.
Very good. Good for you.
I appreciate that.
Well, thanks for your future service.
Thank you.
And Matthew, I've heard lots of great things about next year for you.
Yes. I hope, I think. But I've committed to the University of Notre Dame. I'll be studying.
The 5 Notre Dame fans applaud. I'm one of them. Yeah. Congratulations. Congratulations on everything that you've accomplished also with DECA. And I don't know what the future holds for you, man, but I see you occupying one of these seats, if not a school board, some elected position somewhere, because I think you're just a natural born leader. Will you do me a favor? When you go back, we tell Chris Chin and David Garassi that we said congratulations on that second place finish. And congratulations to the DECA team, to management, everything that you guys are doing. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, Mr. Barris. Hope to see you guys soon.
Appreciate it.
Keep us posted, you two guys, on what you guys are doing.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to our next item, which is the Business and Operational Services Action Item. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan, Board of Trustees. This is with regard to naming rights, and this item was first brought to the board at the November 11th, 2024 board meeting in accordance with policy 9700.01 sponsorships. The administration presents for a second reading the PHM Education Foundation's naming rights campaign request for the Fieldhouse to the board for approval. The PHM Education Foundation requests that the board approve the naming rights, name the Fieldhouse, Dr. Jerry Thacker, Donna Thacker Fieldhouse. The naming rights will be in effect at the completion of the Fieldhouse will last for 12 years. The naming of the Fieldhouse is sponsored by Gary and Tammy Fox. Executive Director of the PHM Education Foundation, Ms. Jen Turnblom, would like to say a few words.
Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the school board, staff, and community. Thank you for having me here this evening. First off, I just want to thank the school board for your continued support of our naming rights campaign. Your support of the naming rights campaign has made a huge impact on the Education Foundation. This campaign builds up our endowment. 80% of all donations go into the foundation's endowment, allowing us to increase our grant funding year after year. We've increased our grant funding in the last 4 years by more than double. We are able to support new programs every single year, things like the Impact Awards, district-wide programs every single year. And so I just want to say thank you for your continued support. Because these things would not happen without this campaign. The naming rights campaign plays a crucial role in building that endowment, which continues to support our success for the future. At the heart of this initiative and the recognition tonight of Dr. Jerry and Donna Thacker, it's two individuals whose unwavering commitment to education and this community has had a profound impact on PHM. Dr. and Mrs. Thacker have dedicated their careers and their lives to the betterment of education. Dr. Thacker began his career as a teacher in PHM, and he returned in 2006 as our superintendent, a position that he's held, as you all know, for 19 years. Under his leadership, it's become one of the top-rated districts in the state with academic excellence, community engagement, and innovative educational practices that the foundation is proud to support. In addition to his role as the superintendent, Dr. Thacker is a longtime supporter of the Education Foundation, and his wife Donna sits on our board. They've generously contributed over $250,000 to support scholarships, grants, and programs through the foundation. These give opportunities for our students to succeed in their philanthropic efforts, have ensured that future generations have access to the resources that they need for continued excellence in education. Donna Thacker is equally dedicated to excellence and service. She's a tireless advocate for our community. She's a long-standing member and lead donor of the Education Foundation. She volunteers tirelessly with things like Running is Elementary and the Silver Mile. She's helped propel our mission to enhance educational opportunities, especially in things like arts and music for all students at PHM. Together, Dr. Thacker and Donna's contributions have left an indelible mark on PHM and our broader community. Their passion for education and commitment to student success is always evident in their work. That's why the naming of the Dr. Jerry and Donna Thacker Fieldhouse is a fitting tribute to their legacy. The Fieldhouse will serve as a lasting symbol of their lifelong dedication to this district and to its students. And I also want to say thank you for the continued support of community leaders like Gary and Tamara Fox. They've been instrumental in securing this recognition. The Fieldhouse will stand as a testament to the Thacker's leadership, generosity, and commitment to education. Gary and Tamara Fox, as well, are longtime supporters of the PHM Education Foundation. They've been essential to this effort. Gary has served on the foundation's board, and they have been generous donors almost since the foundation's inception. They've helped us secure sponsorships and personally supported programs like our Short Circuits program, been supporters of many things throughout the years, and I was excited when they approached us and wanted to help with this campaign as well. Tonight, we celebrate not only the naming of this incredible facility, but the continued partnership of community members who believe in the transformative power of education. On behalf of the entire PHM community and the Education Foundation, I want to express our deep gratitude to the Thackers, the Foxes, and to all of you who support the PHM Education Foundation and PHM students. Thank you.
The Education Foundation, unbelievable. When I think about 1996 when this thing started, and where it is today, it's amazing, Jennifer. You've done a tremendous job pulling that together and the amount of money. You got the little cheat sheet up here that talks about all the the millions of dollars that have run through the foundation. And I think back to 2005, and Penn was we had a very divided board. We had some difficult financial situation, and we thought we were the best in St. Joe County. The board in 2005 said, well, that's not what we want to be. We want to be the best in the state. We want to play at a national level. And, Jim Berger, Jamie Woods, Larry Beeler, Randy Lurie, Susan Warner, and Tim Eby got together and said, we want to play at a national level. We brought on board Dr. Thacker and said, improve our facilities, improve our graduation rate, improve all the great things that are going to go happen, that could happen at Penn, that we think we can do better. And I think the record speaks for itself, what happened with the foundation. Our facilities, if you look at what they are today, they're safer, they're better, they're more efficient. You compare our facilities today to what they were in 2006, and no increase in tax rates. And I think that's amazing to me, to what has occurred, the partnership with the Educational Foundation, the partnership with our community, where we said we were going to do better, but we're not going to cost you more. I think it's amazing. And I think, as Jennifer very well wrote out, Dr. Thacker was a big part of the lead of all that happening. So thank you.
Well, for being honest, thank you both. Dr. Thacker, you've given so much and continue to give so much. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the Education Foundation. Mr. Fox, I had the privilege of attending an Education Foundation event with you, one where third graders were displaying their proficiency of robotics. That was an event that you sponsored. Thank you for your enormous generosity to the Education Foundation. Because of individuals like you, Mrs. Thacker, and you, Mr. Fox, and Mrs. Fox, this Education Foundation has brought skill sets that previously were only thinkable for 11th graders, 12th graders, and has made them actionable for third graders. And the list of accomplishments of the Education Foundation just goes on and on and on. But it wouldn't happen if not for generous benefactors such as the two of you. Thank you both very much. Board members, do I have a motion to approve Dr. Jerry Thacker and Donna Thacker Fieldhouse naming rights agreement with the Penn-Harris-Madison Education Foundation for sponsorship of the Fieldhouse as presented?
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries by a vote of 6-1. I think we're gonna take a vote.
I think we do Jerry Fox and Tammy Fox.
Yeah.
Come on up, Tammy. Photo worthy all the time.
You're the middle guy, come on.
Right here. 1, 2, 3. That's great, thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Now move on to our next business action item, and Dr. Thacker, I'll turn it over to you to introduce it. Sure.
You know, I'd like to say that I love Penn-Harris-Madison School Corporation. I love being a superintendent. It's so much fun. We've made so much progress in so many areas. We truly are an exemplary school system. And I'll just point out when I got here, some key things. And Gary Fox has been instrumental in so many things that have happened here during the 19 years that I was here, that I've been here. His imprint on this district is just monumental. But it's so much fun. Donna absolutely love being part of the PHM family. This job every single day is challenging, exciting, and stimulating. We continue with that vision of excellence. That's something that Gary Fox always wanted. And we talk about that triangle of success. And it's a trademark. It's trademark, this lapel pin. We're saying that when we get everybody working together, parents, students, and teachers, they make a difference. Having the parent involvement, we moved us from being good to a great district. So we're certainly proud of that. I think of the people who have been, when I think of lead donors and leaders, and Gary Fox is recognized as a professional and as an accountant. I was at an event at the University of Notre Dame and talking to a colleague of his who does international work. And he said to me and a couple of others, Gary Fox is the most innovative, creative accountant I've ever worked with. So that includes the entire country. He's the best. That's why you're seeing some of these things happen. When you look at the tax rates, you look at the facilities and such, and making sure we have a great budget and finance, Gary Fox's imprint is all over that. And he's an incredibly philanthropic with his fantastic wife and family. And Tammy is outstanding. She's an educator, she's a teacher. And in case you didn't know, that their daughter does magnificent work, one of our most popular teachers, working in technology, and they just make a difference. And the grandson was here tonight, and so we're really proud of that. We're truly honored and blessed to be part of the PHM community. And we're truly honored and blessed to know Gary and Tammy Fox. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Now we'll move on to the next item, which is approval of capital improvements.
Okay, thank you, President Wiley and Board of Trustees. The Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Aaron Linsky, will present our next business action item this evening, which is a request for approval of capital improvement projects. Dr. Linsky.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. Good evening, President Riley, members of the board. We have 3 items that the administration is pleased to present this evening. Those 3 items are up on the screen for you. You should have had links in your board packet as well. The first recommendation is a change order for the Dr. Jerry and Donna Thacker Penn High School Fieldhouse. That change order is going to cover construction labor and materials related to preparing for the telescoping bleachers as well as the build outs upstairs. It does not include the actual bleachers or those lockers. We'll bring those at a later date. The second involves the installation of LED sports lighting at the at the softball and baseball fields. The original lighting was put in 1994. They have much more energy efficient lights, fixtures that we'll be putting in. We're certainly lighting those up more and more as the multi-purpose fields and the use goes up. So we'll see some great energy efficiency, which will help with that budget. The third recommendation is for playground replacements. We did their first playground replacement this past fall at Horizon. So we're requesting, we've got one piece that we're going to add for our littles at Horizon, and we're going to replace all the playgrounds at Mary Frank and North Point this summer. So total amount that we're requesting tonight is $2,333,806.20. I'd certainly like to thank our Director of Facilities, Mr. Jason Messner, and his team for the job they did preparing for tonight. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Board members, questions or comments?
I have one.
Mr. Chad.
Thank you. It's more so capital improvements overall, that being a concern over the millions of dollars we're spending. This specific part of the budget mainly comes out of local taxpayers' money, property taxes specifically. So one thing I had a question in regard to capital improvements was having to do with security updates. I know security, our schools being safe has been mentioned by other prior board members here just previously tonight. And on September 3rd of 2024, I emailed our superintendent, and part of that email I said I would like an update on the security updates we have made to our schools recently, as well as how things are going with the changes to our security personnel. We have changed the way our security personnel is staffed as well. I believe prior to our meeting, again, this is September 3rd, that email's written. I believe prior to our meeting next Monday in an executive session, the reason executive session is part of our safety measures. I can't tell you because then the potential bad guys might know. Obviously, those are one of the things that would take place in an executive session. I believe prior to our next meeting next Monday in an executive session would be a great time to briefly update the board on these items. That same day, later in the day, I received a response from our superintendent, and the board president in 2024 was copied on that response. He is still the board president for 2025, as voted on earlier tonight. Part of that email said, since the year is just underway, we will provide some written information, which was provided, very high level, word salad in a sense. And then he added, and then schedule a comprehensive update later this semester. It was January 13th, 2025, or the end of the semester is this Thursday. There's been nothing set in stone. There actually has been no executive sessions in about a dozen meetings. To be exact, it's 10. Since April 22nd, 2024, the meeting at Schmucker. If I were the public or if I the media, I'd wonder what happened in that executive session that night, what happened at that board meeting that day. I'd also wonder what happened the next day, April 23rd, 2024. I have a grave concern on, again, the amount of money we continue to approve, the amount of money we continue to spend. I, as a board member elected by this district, quite honestly, don't feel confident in answering to the security and safety of our students and staff in our buildings, because I don't have the proper information. Not that I would then be able to share all of it, but I don't have the proper information on how, since we made the changes over the course of, since I took office 2 years ago to today in regards to personnel, as well as the improvements we've made to our buildings. I mean, one example would be May 22nd, 2023 board meeting. That night we approved, it was number 3 on the business and operational services action items. Number 3, award door access controls and wiring approval. I can't get into detail of what that consisted of, but that we spent over $2 million that night. I, again, would like answers. And I, again, feel like my voice is unheard And it is very disappointing that a meeting was never scheduled. And I quite honestly can't vote, not that I will vote against capital improvements, but until said meeting happens, I don't feel confident supporting any more dollars spent by our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chappie. Other board members?
Yes, I'd like to know that down at the bottom, it says, the new anticipated date of substantial completion. I want to know what substantial completion means.
Yeah, so the original date was, I think, September 13th in that realm next fall, and this will add 30 days. So the substantial completion is everything minus the, all of your, you have to do punch list items. So it'll be occupancy if it's like, hey, we're not real happy with this grade it came in, the manufacturers, we go through the fine tooth comb and make sure everything's up to our standards.
And the other question I have is about the playground equipment. Who determines what we buy?
So we went through that process, started 2 years ago. We worked with, we worked with our architect, Schmidt Associates. We interviewed vendors based on their qualifications. This is a company that has long-lasting lines. One of our problems with maintaining our equipment over time is making sure that if you buy equipment now, then in 20 years, you're gonna be able to get replacement parts. And so that was a challenge with our current equipment, and we're making sure we've chosen a manufacturer that has a standardization. As they update equipment, it still fits previous cycles. And so no matter what, we'll be able to continue to get replacement parts.
And what do we do with the playground that we tear out? Do we sell it? Do we give it
Sure.
away?
So, well, most of the times we're taking pieces and parts, and we know that because we have all of our playgrounds are, within a range of the same date, we're able to take those parts and make sure we're able to maintain our current playgrounds. The rest of the parts, because of the liability, we're not able to sell. So most of it is scrapped, or it's provided through sometimes the manufacturer will reach out to us, and they're also looking for pieces and parts. But by that time, it's mostly just structure pieces, which are, now rusted, faded, and, nobody will put in the ground and say, hey, let's have kids play on it.
And some pretty good. Go around and others don't.
Yeah, so we're taking, that's how we're able to maintain. If you look, we've got I don't want to say it's not a junkyard because it's still good stuff, but we're taking those pieces and parts and making sure that we're harvesting all of that so that, we've got I think it's a 7-year replacement plan for the district, and so we're making sure that we can make those 7 years.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of playgrounds. You think about 3 per school, 11 schools plus Penn High School. It's a hefty investment, but it's one that you make every 20 years.
Thank you, Mr. Beeman. Other board members? Hearing none, I'll take one motion for the entire slate of capital improvements as presented. Do I have a motion to award the capital improvement projects to the listed vendors as presented by Dr. Linsky?
I so move.
A second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Any opposed, vote no. And then abstentions?
Me.
Will show that it is approved by a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 abstention. Dr. Linsky, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next and final business action item. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley, Board Trustees. The final business action item on the agenda is for the board to adopt preliminary plans for the general obligation bonds, form of lease, and authorizing reapproving formation of the building corporation for the approved renovation projects for 2024 and 2025. President Riley will continue with the process.
Board members will now work through the approval of the appropriate resolutions. I'll need several motions. The first motion, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit A, which is the preliminary GO bond resolution as presented?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. And I'll show 1 abstention. The vote carries by a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstention. Second motion, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit B, which is a resolution approving the form of lease and authorizing publication of notice of hearing on lease as presented?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye, please. Any opposed, vote nay. Abstain. And I'll show 1 abstention. So the vote is 6 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstention. Third motion, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit C, resolution reapproving the formation of building corporation as presented?
I so move.
A second?
All those in favor vote aye. Any opposed, vote nay.
Abstain.
And I'll show 1 abstention. So a vote in favor is 6, opposed 0, and abstentions 1. Thank you, Dr. Linsky and Dr. Keeley, for your work on the 2024 and 2025 capital improvement projects for the district. We appreciate it very much. And we'll move on to our operational services report, Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, Mr. Riley and Board Trustees. Keisha's Executive Director of Business Services, Dr. Thomas Keeley, will present a summary of the 2025 budget order issued by the Department of Local Government. Thanks, Dr. Keeley.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board. As you know, we started way back in July talking about the budget, doing all the numbers, all the legal steps in August, September, then approval in October. And then it went into the Department of Local Government's hands. And really, the whole time we talk about this, we are maintaining expenses within the revenue streams provided. And we focus on programs and services, absolutely student-centered, but also providing competitive compensation for all of our employees. So when we get the 1782 notice, and I received that back in the first week of January, it covers the property taxes to fund operations, debt service, and then we use other monies to populate rainy day as well. Operations fund is one of our largest funds. It is salary negotiations for all classified or all custodial, maintenance, administration, things like that. So we increased salaries by 3%. As you know, we did have health insurance increases of 5%. This year, unlike last year, last year we went down in assessed value. So you'll see at a later time, we fluctuated with our revenue streams in 2024, but they will certainly increase in 2025 because the assessed value went up 6.7%. That, along with all of the districts in 2024, raised their tax rate. We did not. We were the only school entity that did not raise taxes in St. Joe County. It kept the tax cap, and that is money we lose from operations fund. And so it kept it level. So our operations fund went up. That is not a minus 4%, it's just a dash. It's went up positive 4%, and that's the max levy growth quotient, commonly known as the MLGQ, and that increased our operations by 4%. And I'll get into the specifics so that you. Okay, I apologize for these. This wasn't in the, I should have given this as a PDF, I suppose, instead of a PowerPoint. But as you can see this, and I'm sorry they're not aligned, but 23, 24, and 25, over time, we have gone from a property tax value of 18.15 to 18.8 to 19.6. So the revenue has consistently increased by that 4% MLGQ. All the others are excise, license, excise tax, financial institution taxes. All these others are dependent on the top line. And then we have some other miscellaneous revenue and such. At the very bottom, our transfer from education to operations in 2023 was 8.9 million. In 2024, we only had to move 8 million to keep things balanced and equal. And next year, 2025, we have the ability to move 9,750,000 per month. But as we near the end of the year, depending upon purchases like this year, we've spent $3 million in buses in the last 5 months. They had been on order for a year and a half. We had the cash built up. And so we used those dollars and we didn't transfer as much from education to operations in that last month. So our budget or the revenue streams coming in are 30 million pretty similar. And now next year will be 31.8 million. So that's a good increase of $1.7 million. Our budget are called appropriations. That's a permission to spend money. Since we have over $10 million cash balance and we have 30 million coming in revenue, we're able to get a permission to spend of 35,252,417. Still keeping cash balance with the ability to still buy buses that we approved a month ago, and pretty consistent as you see those increases. Debt service is what we use to issue these GO bonds that you just approved, portion of that. We make sure that the payment is set right in between to set the tax rate right where we want it. So we have permission to spend 17.7 million. We have about 659, 659,879 is cash balance at the end of this year. However, we have 19 million total funds to spend. So certainly a balanced budget in debt service as well.
Doesn't like you to think of it.
Rainy day fund, we haven't expended money in the rainy day fund for years, certainly since I haven't been here. We are getting money in there at about $60,000 or so per year, $16,000 maybe in 2023 from the naming rights. But what we're really increased is our interest income. And now we're putting in about $250,000 to almost $300,000 into rainy day every year, which is a nice increase. And I'll show you those real quick.
We're just building up anticipation.
So the budget order, as you can see, the appropriations for 2023, 2024, and then 2025, you will notice the education fund goes up significantly. That's because we have a large cash balance in there now because we had to close the curricular materials fund that had $3.1 million in it, deposit it into education fund. When we spend money on different curriculum, software, hardware, things like that, books, it all has to come out of education. So we increased that amount, but I didn't think they'd give us permission to spend all of it. So they gave us permission of the 80 million in revenue plus the 14 million, almost $14 million of cash balance. We certainly will not spend that. I anticipate putting our own personal appropriations at about 81 million. We're never going to reach that number, but we have the permission to spend that number. But the others you can see are very consistent. One from 126 to 130, and then this year they just gave us a bit more permission, but we will not be spending that amount of money. So here's the levy, and this is really a fluctuation. I use the debt service line, right, to higher or lower that levy to hit the tax rate exactly where we want it to be to ensure that no PHM taxpayer has a higher tax rate of 9,275 than they had the year before. And so as you can see, our operations has gone up 18.1 to 18.8, and it didn't go up as much because our AV was low last year, to 19.6 in 2025, which is again an increase of quite a bit of money. So we went from 36 down in levy to support the AV dropping, and then back up to 37,311 where I believe it should be. So using that logic of fluctuating the tax rate for debt service alone, we were able to see the tax rate go from 93.87 back in 2022. And for the third consecutive year, we have set the tax rate exactly at 9,275. And that was my personal commitment to you. In the future, I do think that there's an opportunity because of legislation and other business managers I'm talking to across the state to target that debt service rate more closer to 40 cents or perhaps 0.3999 and bring that tax rate down to 90 cents. I think that it's important to listen to the legislators. They keep talking about 40 cents is a trigger point in debt service on whether you go to a referendum or not. And I think we should prepare ourselves to listen to them. And then when they look at us and we're at 0.399, we've done the right thing on our own. They didn't have to legislate and mandate us to get under 40 cents. So we have a wonderful tax rate. And we, in another slide later in the Board of Finance, it is wrong. It says we had the lowest tax rate in St. Joe County. But as of Friday, they certified this budget, so those numbers are true and it's certified. But John Glenn dropped to 90 cents. And so now they're at 90 cents and we're 9,275. And I think that I'd like to be, as Dr. Thacker says all the time, #1. So we'll work a little bit harder next fall for you. So things are very positive. Cash balances are right where we anticipated them. Things are exactly as we mapped them out from July to today. So I couldn't be more pleased than with the DLGF's response to all the documentation information that I provided them.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the presentation. I know that you're going to be coming back for the Board of Finance work session. I will be running the meeting at that point. So I want to take the opportunity while I can to publicly congratulate you and the administration. You and I sat down several months ago or more with a team of auditors from the State Board of Accounts, who then audited us for the succeeding number of weeks or months. And not long ago, I got back a letter from the State Board of Accounts giving you an exemplary performance grade. No irregularities found whatsoever. And they examined quite a bit of data, don't they? It's
$138 million.
It's a tremendous testament to the work that you're doing. Thank you, and thank your team. Thank the other the other members of the administration. They also mentioned the deep cooperation that they receive from PHM, and we appreciate it. When the State Board of Accounts is happy, school board's happy.
And so is the business.
We're all happy. We'll see you back in.
Hey, Chris, I have a chance for a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just received, in fact, going to receive the code to lock in. So, you know, obviously I haven't had a chance to look at anything, but the one thing that did jump out, and it's something I had a lot of frustration with previously, the 250,000 of interest income. You know, that clearly is something that you're doing different than has been done before. The fact that you're putting $250,000 of interest income into the good of the school district, that we weren't able to figure out how to do that before. I just think that's something that should be recognized and congratulated on that accomplishment.
Yeah, to add to Gary, we, as a board, we challenged, I think, 2 years ago to really up the ante on a rainy day, and I think we're pretty laggards in the state on the ranking within that. And great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox, Mr. McCullough. And thank you, Dr. Keeley. We'll move on to our hearing of visitors. When this meeting commenced, I read instructions for anybody who was looking to address the board. Instructions remain in place. With that said, does anybody want to address the board? Hearing seeing none, we'll move then to board reports and requests. Under board reports and requests this evening, the board has an appointment that needs to be voted on, which is the appointment of the ex officio member of the PHM Education Foundation. In 2024, the position was occupied by Ms. Claire Roach. It has now become vacant. Mr. Gary Fox and Mrs. Katie Bell have agreed to serve in this position in a dual role. Board members, do I have a motion to appoint Mr. Gary Fox and Mrs. Katie Bell as ex officio members of the PHM Education Foundation?
I said, well,
I second.
All those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries by a vote of 6-1. And we thank you, Mr. Fox and Mrs. Bell, for agreeing to serve in this capacity. The next item is appointment of a board member to the Penn-Harris-Madison District Safe School Committee. We also need to name our board member participant on the District Safe Schools Committee. This position is also vacant due to Mr. Jim Garrett no longer serving on the PHM Board of School Trustees. Ms. Dana Sullivan has agreed to serve in this role. Board members, so I have a motion to appoint Ms. Dana Sullivan as the Board of Trustees member of the PHM District Safe Schools Committee.
So moved.
A second. All those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries by a vote of 6-1. And we thank you, Ms. Sullivan, also for your willingness to serve in this role. Then to board reports and requests, this being the reorganization meeting of the school board, it's a good opportunity to remind ourselves to be mindful of the fact that we are governed by Robert's Rules of Order. Those rules govern decorum in presentation. Also, there is a 10-minute time limit on board members who seek floor recognition on any given agenda item, and this would be an agenda item. With that said, board members, anything to report or request?
I have one.
Mr. Chaffee.
Thank you. Who shared the private documents in this piece that were published by the local tabloid blogger on December 7th, 2024. Now, the public here watching online, as well as any media agency, might be wondering, what private documents am I talking about? Page 2, the one that I've highlighted here, that's the first one. Then on page 3, private document number 2. Page 4, private document number 3. Now I've highlighted the title of those 3 PDFs for a purpose here in a second. So you might be wondering what am I talking about? So that December 7th piece published by the local tabloid blogger is in reference to this December 3rd email that was sent, so 4 days prior. Those 3 documents were attached in this email, the same exact title of those documents. The people on said email was a law firm, was from the law firm, and the people on it are 2 former board members, so not the 2 new ones, Katie or Gary tonight, but 2 former board members, Mr. Garrett and Mrs. Roach. The other board members are superintendent and the administrative assistant to the board and the administrative assistant to the superintendent. So those were all the individuals on that email. Now my question is, how would the local tabloid blogger get those? Someone either on this email forwarded it directly to him, or they forwarded it to someone that then forwarded it to him then, so he could publish that piece. Now, it was clearly in an effort to intimidate me, but the main reason why I'm bringing it up tonight, and thank you for the majority of you giving me your attention except for the president, is safety. Safety. We hear all the time talked about by our superintendent and the rest of our board. Tonight I brought up safety. Not one other board member spoke after I voiced concerns. Didn't even hear anything back from our superintendent when I pointed something out. Valid concerns. Another issue with safety in regard to the individuals named on said document. Those people are PHM residents, PHM staff, and PHM parents. The person that forwarded those 3 documents, my question to that person was, were you concerned about the safety of those people? Were you concerned about the safety of their children that walk the halls of PHM schools when, hey, their buddy finds out about this and says, hey, why is your mom or dad listed in this? No, you weren't worried. So it's a grave concern. So, Mr. McCullough, was it you?
Wait. I'm gonna raise it. Wait, stop. I'm gonna raise a point of order. It is my understanding under Robert's rules that the whole point of board discussion is depersonalization and focus on the issues. And that we are not allowed to use this opportunity to cross-examine one another. Am I correct?
Correct. There would be no sort of cross-examination.
There will be no cross-examination of any school board members. You are allowed, with the balance of your time, which I have as being about 5 minutes, to state issues. You are not allowed to cross-examine other school board members.
Just like always. Silencing you. Thank you, Mr. McCullough. At least he full throttled said no right away. So thank you for answering that question. I'm disappointed that we're not going to get to the bottom of this, because the other thing I'm going to bring up is someone did FOIA those communications. And in that FOIA, that individual specifically detailed communications where you would have been provided if that FOIA was answered in full by PHM, which guess what? It wasn't. If it was answered in full, you would have had whoever it was, one of these individuals, you would have had them forwarding it to whoever it was. Not saying it was the local tabloid blogger. It might have been person X, and then person X sent it to the local tabloid blogger. Or hey, maybe they sent it to him directly. I don't know. It's disappointing that PHM is not answering that FOIA in full. And I again circle back in my close to safety. Someone did it. Not necessarily someone here at this table tonight, because we have new board members, but someone did. Someone maybe at this table directed someone else to do it. You guys definitely are aware of who did it. One of you is. And it's very disenfranchising to people that come up and stand at that podium that voice concerns about the school district, because at the end of the day, I believe in my heart that they truly want better for it. So, thank you.
Other school board members? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to announcements. Excuse me. Monday, January the 20th of 2025 is recess date for the PHM School Corporation. There will be no school. The next regular meeting of PHM School Board Trustees will convene on Monday, February the 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at Penn High School. There's no further business before the board. That being so, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries unanimously. We're adjourned at 8:09 a.m. p.m. And we're going to move to our Board of Finance meeting.